The ultimatum: the Galactic Dominion Alliance had ruled the stars for 12,000 years. 5 ancient civilizations, the Corinthians, the Azurian Collective, the Multar Sovereignty, the Celian Empire, and the Dravic Ascendancy, had formed an unbreakable coalition that controlled over 4,000 star systems. Their technology was ancient and refined. Their fleets numbered in the tens of thousands. Their word was absolute law across the known galaxy. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood in the Dominion Council chamber, a structure so massive that it generated its own artificial gravity field. The chamber floated in the depths of space, accessible only through carefully monitored jump gates. Around her, the 5 supreme counselors sat upon their elevated platforms, each representing civilizations that had mastered space travel, while humanity was still discovering agriculture. Supreme Counselor Kreth of the Corinthians spoke first. His species resembled massive serpents covered in metallic scales that shifted colors with his mood. Currently, they displayed patterns of deep crimson, a sign of barely contained anger. His voice resonated through translation devices embedded in the chamber walls. Ambassador Vasquez, your species has been given every opportunity to comply with Dominion law. 3 standard years have passed since humanity was granted provisional membership in our alliance. In that time, you have refused to surrender control of your military forces. You have declined to share your technological databases. You have rejected our resource quotas. Most egregiously, you have established colonies in 17 systems that the Dominion has designated as restricted zones. Elena kept her expression neutral. She had practiced this moment for months, knowing it would come. Humanity had studied the Dominion carefully during their first contact 5 years ago. They had learned the languages, understood the customs, and analyzed the power structures. What they discovered was not a benevolent federation of equals, but a rigid hierarchy where younger species existed only to serve the ancient powers. Supreme Counselor, Elena replied, her voice steady. Humanity has followed every protocol outlined in the Provisional Membership Charter. The systems we colonized were marked as unclaimed in your own navigation databases. We submitted settlement claims according to established procedures. We paid the required fees. Every action was documented and approved through proper channels. Counselor Azura of the Azurian Collective leaned forward. Her species existed as beings of pure energy contained within crystalline matrices. Her voice manifested as harmonics that bypassed translation entirely, speaking directly to the mind. You misunderstand your position, human. The Dominion does not negotiate with provisional members. We instruct, we guide, we command. Your species is barely 3 centuries into space exploration. We have maintained galactic order for millennia. Your opinions on territorial rights are irrelevant. The 3rd counselor, Multar Prime of the Multar Sovereignty, added his voice. His species had evolved in heavy gravity worlds, resulting in beings that resembled walking mountains of dense muscle and armored hide. The resources in those 17 systems are needed for Dominion projects. Your colonies will be evacuated within 60 standard days. Your military fleet will be integrated into Dominion command structure. Your technological research will be submitted for review and classification. These are not requests. Elena felt the weight of the moment. Behind her, standing silently, was General Marcus Stone, the Supreme Commander of Human Defense Forces. His presence was not accidental. Earth's government had sent both a diplomat and a warrior to this meeting, understanding that words alone might not be enough. And if humanity refuses these demands? Elena asked quietly. Counselor Dravic of the Dravic Ascendancy, a being composed of segmented armor plates that constantly rearranged themselves, made a sound that translators interpreted as contemptuous laughter. Then you will face correction. The Dominion has brought order to countless species who initially resisted our guidance. Some learned quickly. Others required more direct instruction. All eventually understood their place. The 5th counselor, Celian Elder Vorn, had remained silent until now. His species were ancient, predating even the formation of the Dominion itself. They resembled elongated humanoids with translucent skin that revealed bioluminescent organs beneath. His voice carried a tone of patient disappointment. Ambassador Vasquez, we do not wish to harm your species. Humanity shows promise. Your adaptability is remarkable. Your scientific curiosity is admirable. But you are children playing with forces you do not comprehend. The galaxy is vast and dangerous. The Dominion protects you from threats you cannot imagine. In return, we ask only obedience. This is not tyranny. This is necessity. Elena took a deep breath. This was the moment her government had prepared for. The moment every human leader had hoped to avoid but knew was inevitable. Supreme Counselors, I am authorized to deliver humanity's formal response to your demands. She activated a holographic projector, a small device that Earth's engineers had designed specifically for this meeting. It bypassed the chamber's security protocols easily, a small demonstration of human technical capability that did not go unnoticed. The message appeared in the center of the chamber, visible to all 5 counselors simultaneously. It was brief, written in all 5 Dominion primary languages with perfect grammar and cultural context. To the Supreme Council of the Galactic Dominion Alliance, humanity acknowledges your demands. We recognize your superior numbers and ancient heritage. We understand the power you wield across the galaxy. However, we must respectfully decline your instructions. The 17 colonial systems will remain under human governance. Our military will remain independent. Our technology will remain sovereign. We see cooperation as equals, not submission as subjects. We hope you will reconsider your position. You have 72 hours to respond. The chamber erupted in sounds that translation systems struggled to process. Shock, outrage, disbelief, and something else. The faintest trace of concern from Celion Elder Vorn, whose species had lived long enough to recognize patterns others missed. Counselor Kreth's scales flashed brilliant scarlet. This is madness. You dare issue us an ultimatum? You, a species barely capable of faster-than-light travel, presume to negotiate terms with the Dominion? General Stone stepped forward for the first time. His movement was precise and controlled, the bearing of a man who had spent 40 years in military service. Counselors, Ambassador Vasquez speaks with the full authority of the United Human Government. Our position is clear. We will defend our sovereignty. We hope it does not come to conflict, but we are prepared for any outcome. Counselor Azura's crystalline form pulsed with energy patterns indicating confusion. Prepared? You have 200 military vessels. The Dominion commands 40,000 warships. Your largest weapons can barely scratch our shield technology. Your fastest ships are slower than our cargo haulers. What preparation could possibly matter against such disparity? Marcus met her gaze without flinching. Counselors, humanity has existed in a state of perpetual warfare for our entire recorded history. 10,000 years of conflict taught us lessons that cannot be found in any database. We learned strategy from necessity. We developed tactics through survival. We perfected warfare because our world gave us no choice. Every generation studied the mistakes of those who came before. We hoped we would never need to apply that knowledge against others. You are making that hope impossible. Moltar Prime rose to his full impressive height, nearly 4 meters of dense muscle and armor. You speak of your primitive wars as if they matter. We have seen your historical records. Chemical weapons, nuclear exchanges, biological warfare. Your species' cruelty to itself is not something to boast about. It merely proves you are dangerous children who need supervision. No, Marcus said quietly. It proves we understand what you have forgotten. War is not about having better weapons or larger fleets. War is about will, adaptation, and the absolute determination to achieve victory regardless of cost. You have had peace for so long that you have forgotten what real conflict means. We never had that luxury. Counselor Dravik's armor plates rearranged into an aggressive configuration. Then you choose extinction. The Dominion fleet will assemble. Your colonies will be occupied. Your homeworld will be blockaded. You will submit or you will cease to exist as a spacefaring civilization. This conversation is over. Elena bowed her head slightly, a gesture of formal respect. Then humanity's message has been delivered. We return to Earth to await your decision. 72 hours, counselors. We hope you choose wisdom over force. She and General Stone left the chamber. Behind them, the 5 Supreme Counselors sat in stunned silence. For 12,000 years, no species had ever refused Dominion commands. The very concept seemed to violate natural law. Celion Elder Vorn spoke into the silence, his voice troubled. Brothers and sisters of the Council, I urge caution. Something about these humans concerns me. Their confidence is not bravado. They truly believe they can oppose us. Belief is irrelevant, Kreth hissed. They will learn reality soon enough. But Vorn could not shake his unease. His species had survived for 50,000 years by recognizing danger before it manifested. The humans frightened him in ways he could not articulate. They reminded him of something ancient, something the Dominion itself had been created to suppress. A memory of the old wars before the Alliance when species fought without restraint or mercy. 72 hours passed with painful slowness. The Dominion assembled its response fleet, a massive armada of 3,000 warships drawn from all 5 member civilizations. It was commanded by Fleet Marshal Corvin, a Corinthian officer with 8 centuries of experience. His orders were clear: occupy the human colonies, disable their military vessels, and demonstrate overwhelming superiority. Casualties were to be minimized. This was a lesson, not an extermination. The fleet jumped into the Proxima Centauri system, humanity's oldest and largest colony outside Earth. Sensors immediately detected the human defensive fleet, exactly 212 vessels arranged in standard formation around the orbital habitats. The Dominion fleet outnumbered them 15-1. Marshal Corvin broadcast the standard challenge. Human vessels, you are ordered to power down your weapons and prepare for boarding. Resistance will be met with necessary force. You have 10 minutes to comply. No response came. The human ship simply held position, their energy signatures stable and calm. Marshal, his sensor officer, reported, the human vessels are not charging weapons. They are not raising shields. They appear to be waiting. Waiting for what? Corvin wondered aloud. Then his screens went dark. Every sensor, every communication system, every tactical display in the entire Dominion fleet simultaneously failed. 3,000 warships were rendered blind and deaf in an instant. Emergency protocols activated, attempting to reboot systems, but nothing responded. The ships could still move and fire, but they could not see targets or coordinate with each other. That was when the real human fleet arrived. They came from every direction, appearing from jump points that should not have existed so close to a gravity well. Not 200 ships, but 2,000. Small angular vessels painted the color of deep space, nearly invisible against the cosmic background. They moved with precision that suggested either impossible coordination or some form of shared intelligence. The Dominion crews, working frantically to restore their systems, never saw the first attacks. Missiles, traveling at velocities that violated known physics, struck shield generators and engine sections with surgical precision. Ships did not explode. They were simply disabled, losing power and drifting helplessly. Human boarding teams materialized on Dominion vessels, moving through corridors with purpose and efficiency. They carried weapons but used them sparingly, preferring to disable crew members with non-lethal methods. Within 30 minutes, the entire Dominion fleet was captured intact. Marshal Corvin found himself standing on his own bridge, surrounded by human soldiers in powered armor. Their leader, a woman with captain's insignia, removed her helmet and spoke in perfect Corinthian dialect. Marshal Corvin, I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Human Defense Forces. Your crew is unharmed. Your ships are intact. You are our prisoners, but you will be treated with respect according to the rules of warfare that humanity has refined over millennia. You will be returned to the Dominion with a message. What message? Corvin asked, his scales showing colors of shame and confusion. Captain Chen's expression was sad but resolute. Since you chose war, let us show you how it is done. The Battle of Proxima Centauri had lasted 43 minutes. The Dominion lost 3,000 warships without destroying a single human vessel. Not one Dominion crew member had been killed, though thousands were wounded or unconscious. The human forces had demonstrated technical superiority, tactical brilliance, and, most disturbing to those who witnessed it, absolute restraint in the use of lethal force. The message reached the Supreme Council within hours. Attached to it was detailed sensor data from the captured Dominion ships, showing exactly how humanity had achieved the impossible. Stealth technology generations beyond Dominion capabilities, weapon systems that bent physical laws the Alliance thought were absolute, cyber warfare tools that turned advanced AI systems into helpless observers, and coordination between thousands of vessels that operated as a single organism. Counselor Kreth viewed the reports in silence. His scales had turned pale gray, a color his species displayed only in the face of overwhelming shock. Around him, his fellow counselors struggled to process what they were seeing. How is this possible? Multar Prime demanded. 3 centuries ago, these humans were confined to a single world. Their technology was primitive. We have their historical records. We know their capabilities. General Marcus Stone's face appeared on every screen in the council chamber. His expression was grave. You know what we wanted you to know. Humanity has been preparing for this moment since the day we detected your first probe in our system. We studied you. We learned everything about your technology, your tactics, your psychology. We built our entire defense strategy around the assumption that the galaxy would not accept us as equals. We hoped we were wrong. We were not. Celion Elder Vorn spoke, his voice heavy with the weight of understanding. You did not join the Dominion seeking protection or guidance. You joined to learn our weaknesses. Yes, Marcus confirmed. Every diplomatic mission was also an intelligence operation. Every trade agreement included hidden sensor packages. Every cultural exchange gave us access to your computer networks. For 5 years, we mapped every ship, every station, every defensive installation in Dominion space. We prepared for the war you were always going to force upon us. What do you want? Counselor Azura asked, her harmonics conveying genuine fear for the first time in her existence. What we have always wanted, Marcus replied. Recognition as equals. The freedom to govern ourselves. The right to protect our people. Peace, if possible. But make no mistake, we will accept only one outcome. Our sovereignty is not negotiable. Your choice now is simple. Accept humanity as an equal partner in galactic affairs, or watch as we systematically dismantle every military asset you possess. We will not conquer you. We will not enslave you. We will simply remove your ability to threaten us or anyone else. The transmission ended. The council chamber fell into profound silence. 12,000 years of unquestioned authority had ended in less than 72 hours. The lesson had been taught, and the teachers had become students. Human command had sent its final message, and the galaxy would never be the same. The demonstration, the Dominion Supreme Council convened an emergency session for the first time in 3,000 years. The Grand Chamber, usually filled with the casual confidence of immortal authority, now echoed with heated debates and desperate calculations. 5 ancient civilizations accustomed to absolute control found themselves facing an enemy they did not understand and could not defeat through conventional means. Counselor Kreth's scales flickered between crimson anger and pale shock. We cannot simply surrender to their demands. The entire galactic order depends on Dominion authority. If we bow to these humans, every species under our protection will question our strength. Chaos will follow. Chaos has already arrived, Celion Eldervorn responded quietly. His bioluminescent organs pulsed with patterns indicating deep concern. 3,000 warships captured without a single human casualty. Our most advanced fleet rendered helpless in minutes. We are not facing a rebellious child species. We are facing something we have not encountered in millennia, a peer competitor. Counselor Azura's crystalline form resonated with dissonance. Impossible. We have analyzed their technology. Yes, they possess advanced stealth capabilities and sophisticated cyber warfare tools, but their fundamental science should not exceed ours. We have had 12,000 years to refine our understanding of physics. They have had barely 3 centuries in space. Moltar Prime slammed a massive fist against his platform, creating a shockwave that rippled through the chamber's gravity field. Then explain Proxima Centauri. Explain how their missiles achieved velocities our sensors claimed violated relativistic limits. Explain how they jumped entire fleets into positions that should have torn their ships apart from gravitational stress. Our science says it is impossible, yet they did it. Fleet Marshal Corvin stood before the council, summoned to provide his first-hand account. His scales showed permanent discoloration from the shame of his defeat, visible marks that would remain for the rest of his long life. Supreme Counselors, I have commanded fleets for 8 centuries. I have studied every major battle in recorded Dominion history. What the humans did at Proxima Centauri was not superior technology alone. It was comprehensive strategic thinking applied with perfect execution. Elaborate, Counselor Dravik demanded, his armor plates shifting in agitation. They did not simply attack us, Corvin explained. They controlled every aspect of the engagement from the beginning. The defensive fleet we initially detected was a decoy, positioned to draw us into a predetermined kill zone. While we focused on those vessels, their real fleet was already in position, surrounding us from vectors we believed were impossible to approach. Their cyber attack was not a virus or hack. It was a complete takeover of our systems using backdoors they had installed months ago during routine software updates we received through standard Dominion supply chains. The council members exchanged looks of horror. They compromised our supply networks? Azura asked. Not just supply networks, Corvin continued. After the battle, Human technical teams helped us restore our systems. In doing so, they showed us the extent of their infiltration. Every Dominion vessel built in the last 5 years contains components manufactured or modified by human shell corporations. Every major computer system includes human-designed subroutines disguised as efficiency improvements. Every communication network has human monitoring protocols embedded in its architecture. Counselors, they have had access to everything for years. Every tactical plan, every fleet movement, every classified research project. They knew our capabilities better than we did. Celian Elder Vorn closed his eyes, a gesture of profound distress among his species. We invited them into our networks. We believed they were primitive and eager to learn from us. We never considered they might be studying us as prey studies a predator. What happened to your crews? Moltar Prime asked. They were treated with unexpected courtesy, Corvin admitted. Human medical teams treated our wounded with care and expertise. Their soldiers provided food and water that met the dietary requirements of all 5 species. They even allowed us to maintain our rank structures and dignity during captivity. After 72 hours, they released us, returned our ships fully repaired, and sent us home with a message. What message? Kreth demanded. Corvin activated a holographic display. General Marcus Stone's face appeared, his expression neither triumphant nor cruel, simply determined. Supreme Council of the Dominion Alliance, you attacked our colony with 3,000 warships. We defeated that fleet without killing a single crew member. This was not mercy born of weakness. It was a demonstration of capability. We could have destroyed every vessel. We chose not to. We could have executed every captured officer. We chose not to. We make these choices because we are not your enemy. We are not conquerors. We simply refuse to be subjects. Marcus paused, letting his words register. However, if you choose to continue this conflict, we will respond with increasing levels of force. The next Dominion fleet that enters human space will not be captured. It will be destroyed. The attack after that will result in military strikes against Dominion installations in your own territory. We do not want this escalation. We are giving you every opportunity to choose peace, but understand this clearly. Humanity will never submit to your authority. You can accept us as equals, or you can face us as enemies. There is no third option. The transmission ended. The council chamber remained silent for a long moment. He is bluffing, Kreth finally said, though his scales showed colors that contradicted his words. They cannot possibly threaten our home systems. We have defenses they cannot penetrate. Marshal Corvin, Vorn asked carefully, do you believe they are bluffing? The old warrior considered the question. 8 centuries of experience weighed against 43 minutes of humiliation. No, Elder. I believe they are showing restraint while demonstrating overwhelming capability. Every action they took at Proxima Centauri was designed to minimize casualties while maximizing psychological impact. They could have killed us all. Instead, they showed us exactly how helpless we were, then let us live to report it. That is not the behavior of a species reaching the limits of its power. That is the behavior of a species that has power to spare and chooses carefully how to use it. Counselor Dravik's armor plates arranged themselves into a configuration indicating military readiness. Then we must attack with everything we have. Assemble the full Dominion Armada. Every fleet from every territory. We will crush them with numbers so overwhelming that their tricks and technology become irrelevant. No, Vorn said firmly, with an authority that surprised the other counselors. That is exactly what they expect us to do. They are students of warfare. They have studied every conflict in galactic history. They know how we think. They know how we respond to threats. They have already planned for the massive assault you are proposing. If we send our full armada, we will simply lose it all at once instead of in smaller pieces. Then what do you propose? Moltar Prime asked. We cannot simply accept their demands. The other species will see us as weak. We are weak, Vorn said bluntly, at least compared to the humans in military capability. We have been weak for thousands of years, but we never realized it because we faced no real challenges. Our technology stagnated. Our tactical thinking became ceremonial. Our warriors became bureaucrats. Meanwhile, humanity spent 10,000 years in constant warfare, refining every aspect of combat until they achieved a level of expertise we cannot match. You would have us surrender? Kreth hissed. I would have us adapt, Vorn replied. The galaxy is changing. The humans have proven that age and size do not guarantee supremacy. We can either learn from this lesson or be destroyed by it. I propose we send an emissary to Earth, not to negotiate surrender, but to understand what they truly want. The debate continued for hours, but eventually Vorn's position prevailed. The Dominion would not launch another military assault. Instead, they would send Celian Elder Vorn himself to Earth, accompanied by representatives from each member civilization. It was a risk, but the alternative was a war they could not win. 3 days later, Elder Vorn's diplomatic vessel entered the Sol system. He had been expecting heavy military presence, fleets of warships demonstrating human power. Instead, he found something far more unsettling. The system appeared almost empty. A few patrol craft acknowledged his ship and provided escort coordinates, but there was no massive show of force. No weapons pointed in his direction, no threats or intimidation. His vessel was guided to a space station orbiting Earth, an elegant structure that combined functionality with aesthetic beauty. When Vorn and his delegation disembarked, they were greeted not by soldiers, but by Ambassador Elena Vasquez and a small diplomatic staff. "Elder Vorn," Elena said with a respectful bow. "Welcome to Unity Station. We are honored by your presence." Vorn studied the human carefully. She showed no signs of triumph or arrogance. Her demeanor was professional and courteous. "Ambassador Vasquez, I confess I am surprised by the nature of our reception. I expected armed guards and military displays." Elena smiled gently. "Elder, we are not at war with you. We are in disagreement about political relationships. There is a difference. Please follow me. Our leadership is eager to meet with you." The delegation was escorted through the station. Vorn observed everything carefully. The humans they passed showed curiosity but no hostility toward the alien visitors. The technology visible in the station was advanced but not ostentatiously military. Everything spoke of a civilization that was confident but not aggressive. They were brought to a conference room with a spectacular view of Earth below. Seated at a long table were representatives of the United Human Government. General Marcus Stone was present, along with civilian leaders, scientists, and cultural representatives. A complete cross-section of human society. The human delegation stood as the aliens entered, a sign of respect that surprised Vorn. In Dominion chambers, younger species were expected to show deference first. "Elder Vorn," spoke an elderly human woman with white hair and kind eyes. "I am Secretary General Patricia Morrison, current leader of the United Human Government. Thank you for coming. We have much to discuss." The negotiations lasted for 3 days. What surprised Vorn most was not the content of human demands, but their moderation. They did not want Dominion territory. They did not seek reparations or revenge. They wanted only what they had stated from the beginning: recognition as a sovereign and equal civilization. But why? Vorn asked during one of their private conversations. "You have demonstrated military superiority. You could demand far more. You could potentially conquer significant portions of Dominion space. Why settle for simple recognition?" General Stone, who had been quietly observing most of the negotiations, answered, "Elder Vorn, humanity has a long and painful history. For most of our existence, we fought each other. Nation against nation, ideology against ideology, group against group. Millions died. Our world nearly destroyed itself multiple times. We learned hard lessons from that history." He leaned forward, his expression earnest. "We learned that conquest creates resentment, that forced submission breeds rebellion, that empires built on domination eventually collapse. We do not want an empire. We have seen where that path leads. We want something humanity has rarely achieved in its own history: peaceful coexistence with our neighbors as equals. Not as masters, not as servants, but as partners." "But you prepared for war," Vorn pointed out. "Your infiltration of our systems, your military buildup, your strategic planning, all of this required decades of effort and resources." "Yes," Marcus agreed, "because we also learned another lesson. Peace is only possible between those who respect each other. And respect is only genuine when it is based on capability, not weakness. We prepared for war so that we would never have to fight one. We became strong so that we could afford to be merciful. We demonstrated our power so that you would take our desire for peace seriously." Vorn was silent for a long moment, processing this philosophy. It was alien to Dominion thinking, which emphasized hierarchy and control. Yet it carried a logic he could not deny. "Your species is strange," Vorn finally said. "You possess the capability for tremendous violence, yet you speak of peace. You have defeated us utterly, yet you offer us partnership. I do not fully understand you. Patricia Morrison joined the conversation. Elder Vorn, perhaps that is the beginning of wisdom. Understanding that there are different ways to approach power and relationships. The Dominion has maintained order for 12,000 years through hierarchy and control. It has worked after a fashion, but it has also stagnated. How many new ideas have emerged from Dominion science in the last 1,000 years? How many cultural innovations? How many breakthroughs in art, philosophy, or technology? Vorn hesitated. The answer was uncomfortable. Very few. Humanity offers something different, Patricia continued. Not domination, but collaboration. Not control, but cooperation. We have technologies you lack. You have knowledge we need. Together we could achieve things neither of us can accomplish alone. But this is only possible if we approach each other as equals, not as master and subject. The negotiations concluded with a historic agreement. The Dominion would officially recognize human sovereignty over all currently held territories. Humanity would share certain technologies with Dominion species in exchange for access to ancient knowledge and scientific databases. A new Galactic Council would be formed, one where decisions were made through consensus rather than decree. Species would be judged by their contributions, not their age. It was revolutionary, it was unprecedented, and it was necessary. As Elder Vorn prepared to depart, he had one final question for General Stone. What would you have done if we had refused? If we had sent our full armada against you? Marcus met his gaze steadily. We would have done exactly what we promised. Destroyed your fleets, neutralized your military infrastructure, removed your ability to threaten us or anyone else, and then we would have offered you the same peace terms we are offering now. Because our goal was never your destruction, Elder. It was always our freedom. You are certain you would have won? Marcus smiled, but it was not a pleasant expression. Elder Vorn, the fleet you saw at Proxima Centauri represented approximately 15% of our actual military capability. The rest remains hidden, waiting, hoping it will never be needed. Yes, we were certain. We are always certain. That is what 10,000 years of warfare teaches. Never start a fight you are not absolutely sure you can win. Elder Vorn returned to the Dominion Council with the treaty and his report. The other counselors listened in stunned silence as he described everything he had witnessed and learned. They are not conquerors, Vorn concluded. They are survivors who learned that the only true victory is one that does not require endless fighting. They became masters of warfare so they could choose peace from a position of strength rather than weakness. The galaxy has much to learn from them if we have the wisdom to listen. The treaty was ratified 3 weeks later. The Galactic Dominion Alliance began its transformation into the Galactic Cooperative Council. Humanity took its place not as the dominant species but as an equal partner. Other younger species, seeing what humanity had achieved, began to demand their own recognition. The old order was dying. A new era was beginning. In the command center on Unity Station, General Marcus Stone watched the celebrations with satisfaction. Beside him stood Captain Sarah Chen, who had led the operation at Proxima Centauri. Do you think it will last, sir? She asked. This peace we have negotiated? Marcus considered the question carefully. For a while at least. Long enough for the benefits of cooperation to become apparent. Long enough for a generation to grow up knowing a different way. Will there be challenges? Absolutely. Will some species resist change? Of course. But we have demonstrated that the old ways are not inevitable. That is enough. And if they attack us again, then we will remind them of the lesson, Marcus said quietly. As many times as necessary. But I do not think it will come to that. We did not just defeat them militarily. We defeated their entire worldview. We showed them that age does not equal wisdom, that size does not equal strength, and that true power comes not from dominating others, but from mastering yourself. That is a lesson that cannot be unlearned. Across the galaxy, the message spread. Humanity had challenged the ancient powers and won, not through conquest or cruelty, but through preparation, capability, and strategic wisdom. They had proven that any species, regardless of age or history, could claim its rightful place among the stars if it possessed the courage to stand firm and the wisdom to show mercy. The last message from Human Command had been simple. Since you chose war, let us show you how it is done. And in showing the galaxy how war could be waged with devastating efficiency, humanity had paradoxically demonstrated the path to lasting peace. By becoming masters of destruction, they had earned the right to choose creation instead. The demonstration was complete. The lesson was learned, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.